I also saw on Twitter you have a very hot take on Vaush, and you've
Oh,
said this on stream a couple of times that he's a sock dem, but
in
LARPs as a socialist.
practice.
Yeah,
Not that he
not
LARPs
LARP,
really,
right?
but
It's not like
he
grifty,
talks
but
about it as like that's sort of his like principled position, but pragmatically he needs to be a sock dem. So like there's not much different between how he or I would run a local election. If we were running for something, he'd probably run it in the same way as I would, even though I'm much more to the center than he is. So I think like pragmatically he's forced to be. So like when people talk about him like as a socialist, I mean I guess yeah it's fun to talk about socialist concepts, but this current system kind of puts him into a box where he is a lot of times. And when he was talking to Mike from PA, did you see the whole Mike from PA thing?
yes, I saw the
And
whole thing.
Mike from PA was trying to bring up this vague idea of like sewer socialism, which he wanted to basically
Yeah.
annex the local suburbs, which were already that was already done basically. But Vosh there took a position like, hey, this is how we fix this community's issues within capitalism. So a lot of people on the left, like if Kalinsky and Vosh debated on something, I feel like Vosh would come away with a lot of like centrist sounding takes because he pragmatically works to help
Mm.
people. He understands that you can't just be socialist everywhere. And then Kyle Kalinske there would appear more left pragmatically. I don't know if you would agree or disagree with that, but
Yeah, I mean, that's that's interesting. I never thought about that because I know I've never thought about Vosh and Kyle debating. Like because Destiny all the time says like, oh, I want to debate him so bad, but he knows that Kyle probably wouldn't debate him. But like Vosh would be interesting because you're right that pragmatically Vosh does approach things at the center or at where things are more realistic, whereas Kyle was very forced to vote and he kind of wants all or nothing when it comes to certain policies. But it's interesting because I think that probably at the if you were to put them both in their dream scenario, Vosh's would probably be farther left than Kyle's, but Kyle just seems like he's trying to reach unattainable goals, and Vosh is trying to get there realistically.
yeah. So I'm not saying that Vosh, by his belief system, is a
Right,
liberal, but like I mean, in this current system, you sort of need to
right.
be, especially when it's when you talk about global capitalism. Like you're not going to be able to change this system, but you can try to do what you can to help people, and through helping people, you want to show them a vision of a better world that is possible past all of the current things that sort of keep people down and all of the vices that people fall into and all the cycles that we're currently in. Like there is a world past simply slaving away 5 days a week. Like for example, one concept that Kyle actually talked about today. I didn't watch his video on it, but the idea that you can work 3 days a week or 4 days a week and be more productive than working 5 days a week. There's an old saying in communities like the one I come from, never work yourself out of a job because you're paid by the hour. If you are working on painting a house, then if you can paint that house in one day, never paint that house in one day. Never
Yes.
do it because
Yeah.
if you paint that
Don't
house
do
in
it.
one day, you're going to get paid less because you're working less hours. If
Mm-hmm.
you can paint that house for a year, like make that job
Yep.
go as slow as possible because you'll make more money. But economically, productivity wise, that makes no sense. People should be able
Mm-hmm.
to finish their jobs, yeah, receive the proper compensation for their value. And then they should be able to go be productive members of their community, maintaining their homes, which is a big issue in falling coal communities, like old homes deteriorating, old properties falling apart. People can care about their homes, care about their kids, help their kids with schoolwork, get their kids more involved, be more involved themselves, pick up a hobby, go running, go jogging. Even within this current system, so much can be changed. And I see articles like, wow, now that we can do telecommunications and remote work, we should be paying people less because they're doing less work. They're putting in less hours because they don't have to drive to work or whatever. And I'm like, that is so insane. If we let all the fruits of our labor just keep on going to the top, when there are strides made in how work is done that should be going to people, and they don't even understand that concept because they're in this one mindset, this one
Right.
mode. And that's something I think, if you are a socialist, if you are going to be that, it might give you more of an inclination to show people that world if you do have that principled belief system in the background, but you're still going to be acting relatively, as a centrist in many positions.
Right. And you know, I forget who said that, or if it's just an old saying, but it's like, um, when you're working for somebody, your job as a worker is to do the least amount of work possible and get paid the most, and your boss is supposed to get the most amount of work possible out of you for the least amount of money. And what ends up happening is you meet somewhere in the middle, right? And it's like that give and take. So if you're, I know I have a friend he's a computer programmer, and he says all the time, like, if I could do all my work in like a day, but if I do that, then I'm just gonna get like tons more work, and I don't want, and I'm gonna get paid the same amount of money. So I'm gonna not do it all in one day, and I'm gonna do it slowly so that I keep getting paid, because it's not gonna speed up my what I don't get paid more if I finish this project earlier. So,
Yeah.
like, why would I do that?
And then you look into how people would react to this change. So, how things are valued might be looked at a little bit different. A computer programmer or somebody who does an office job might be able to get their work done in one day out of the week. But who can't? People who are working fast food, people who are working at grocery stores, people who are working as teachers, people who are working as doctors, any
Right.
job
Retail.
that needs
Yeah.
to, yeah, retail, any job that demands 40 hours of work, you start to realize, like, wait, these people are more skilled, which it does give more value in that sense. But they can finish their job in 4 hours, and they're getting paid 10 times what this person who needs to work 40 hours is getting paid. So it might sort of give people a different view on how work is valued in general. And we already know these concepts well, but for normal people who, and by normal people, I mean not political junkies, they need to be more, their reality needs to be shifted sometimes before they're able to really have a clear perception of where things can possibly go.